Hello, Gary Champion, Psychic Medium. Uh-oh, the conservatives have done it again. Let's see. Politicians are in your bedroom telling you what you can and can't do, what's legal and what's not legal. They're telling women what they can do with their bodies, and now they've crossed the line, as if that isn't crossing a line, with a little thing called critical race theory that no one really knows what it means. So I actually looked it up because I wanted to know. Teachers are resigning in schools because they're being told they can't teach racial issues. That's what it amounts to. If you're a Republican or a very right-wing, very conservative person, you're saying that racism exists between this person and this person. That's it. Whatever you say, it's not institutionalized. Yeah. Tell all those people that marched that couldn't eat in a counter, couldn't eat in Woolworths, couldn't go and get a burger, couldn't sit down and couldn't vote, even though slaves were freed after the Civil War. They still couldn't vote because he passed Jim Crow laws to keep them from voting. You had to be able to read and write and do a lot of things they couldn't do because they never went to school. Ooh. Sound familiar? Oh, what's going on? Are we doing that again? Here in Texas we are. Passing laws to restrict immigrants from voting. Why? Because they fear their fat old crusty asses are going to get kicked out of office. They're going to lose their little pensions. We don't want those brown-skinned people voting because they don't like us. Why? Because they know that racism is institutionalized. The Good Old Boys Club. I've seen a couple of orbs go through here, I think. Anyway, I always I'm talking about critical race theory. Well, I don't think it's all that critical. Everybody knows about it. Though the people of color have been kept from doing a lot of things. Getting a loan. A white person with practically no job can get a house. Now, this is my history. This isn't recent. But growing up, you had to have a big down if you were a person of color. You had to prove, you had to go in and document all these things. Now, we all are doing that. You can't buy a house now without documenting everything. You have to go in and show them pay stubs and your bank accounts and where all your money is, and then they might sell you a house, might finance you a house. But back then, it was just people of color. And you couldn't live in that neighborhood. Ooh, why? Ooh, that's a white neighborhood. You can't live there. Realtors were told not to show houses to people of color in that neighborhood. That's as institutionalized as you can get when you're talking about institutionalized. Real estate industry. That's an institution. And to some degree, we don't see a lot of black politicians either. Not that they're any better than white ones. It takes a huge amount of ego to run for office. It requires that. It requires almost that you be an asshole. Doesn't matter what color you are. Seems to, if you're going to abscond with money, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you're going to lie and cheat, it doesn't seem to matter which color you are. But by and large, people of color vote Democratic. And really, really white people vote Republican. They're afraid of losing what they've got. That's all they can think about. We're going to lose everything. I don't think so. They're worried about, someone saying, tip the scales. They're worried that the influx of immigrants, which is who we all are. I was born here, but my people were immigrants. So I come from there. We all do. None of us are from here. We came in on a boat or a plane or a mule or helicopter, however we got here. We're not from here. We're from some other place. So to declare that one race is superior to another simply by numbers, and that's how it is. It's a numbers game. If you can keep the people of color who are moving in, that's why all these militia and state guard and what is that? They've sent their National Guard to the Texas border. Here's a little clue: they don't have any. They don't have the ability to arrest anybody. That's not something they've been given. I don't know what good they're going to do. They can't shoot anybody. They can't arrest anybody. It's a show of force. Someone's saying it very loudly. It's a show of force. Don't come into our country. Who's paying for that? The people of Dakota or wherever these people are coming from to go down there. Republican governors are sending troops, paying for them through the state to go down to, and Texas is inviting them in. Come on in, boys. Although they don't have the right to arrest or even detain anybody. These guys are for national defense. They're not for keeping people out of the country. That's not their job. As I'm sure any one of them would tell you that they don't want to be doing it. And be housed in tents or gymnasiums or something until the food runs out. Or until their state runs out of money. They're trying to prove a point. It's political. It's 2024. That's what we're looking at. They're already starting early, but that's what it's about. Critical race theory. If you're Republican or conservative, it's only between Billy and Michael. It's only between two people. It's not institutionalized. Phew. What a bigger lie. You can't tell a bigger lie. You can tell some equal to that, as we've seen in the last 4 years, through a year ago. You can tell lies about everything. The amazing thing is we're not that smart. We believe this crap. And we shouldn't. We shouldn't. So to claim that you cannot teach that racism is institutionalized, it would have to be institutionalized to keep 15 million people from voting. It'd have to be an organized effort. It didn't just happen. Two guys didn't meet in the street and discuss it. These two guys didn't arm wrestle for it or shoot each other or whatever people do when they disagree over something. It's not that simple. It's been around a long time, since our country was founded. Cotton is king. Why did we just learn to pick our own cotton? Why? Greed. It's all about greed. When it gets down to it, most things are about greed. Or sex or power or something. Isn't it silly? So teachers are quitting because politicians think they have the right to tell teachers what they can and can't teach. And that teacher in that classroom generally knows what they're doing. You're going to deny them teaching the truth? A lot of them are going to walk out. Good luck with that. We already have a teacher shortage now because of COVID-19. A lot of them bailed. They're not going back in the classroom. They're not. They'll find some other job, or they'll teach online, or they'll do something, but lots of them are not going back in the classroom. It's sort of a PTSD thing. And we're going to lose nurses, because that's a given, because they're frontline troops, and they've taken the hardest hit. Unless you're a relative who lost someone to COVID, they're the next. If you lost someone to COVID, and then the people who deal with it, the nurses, doctors, staff of any kind in the hospital, went through a terrible year. A lot of them have decided to do something else. So now you want to chase teachers out of the classroom over color. They're not going to say it, but that's what it is. You're not equal to me. You'll operate under these other rules over here. I can operate under these rules. Thou shalt not. It's gotten in a lot of trouble in the past. Going to continue to until these guys run out of steam or they get voted out of office. We should be laughing at them. Clowns. More clowns. More clown cars. Interesting. Where did we get so many clowns in this country? They were raised that way. And I'd like to say it's not their fault, but it is. If you were raised a racist, you've had time to get over it. You've had time to figure out what's right and wrong, and you haven't done it. So you're accountable. You can't point to your history. Because you could do that with anything. You can always blame somebody, especially if it happened in the past and you think you can connect to it. You can always blame them. We've come a long way, but we're still working on it. And will be for some time. What gives you the right to tell teachers what to do? You're not as educated as they are. You didn't go to school and learn how to teach. You didn't sit in that classroom day after day. You're a blowhard. Someone's saying very loud, they're blowhards. And I think if they yell loud enough, then the biggest voice wins. But they're quitting, leaving us with nothing. You know, there's actual people hired to teach in classrooms without degrees because they don't have enough. Interesting, huh? They're not certified. Probably not insurable unless they've done something critical, passed a law where they can teach and you can cover them with insurance. It doesn't make them teachers. Well-meaning mothers make great teachers, but they didn't spend all that time getting 200 hours in college. They have a different kind of education, just as valuable. Critical race theory. You're going to be hearing a lot of it as these clowns continue to muddy the water, hoping to scare people off. Show a force down at the border, keep them from coming into the state. Actually, they're claiming there's huge numbers coming across the border. Huge numbers of people just walking across the border. So they're sending, no one's been down there to see it. They're just sending their troops. We can't have that. They'll vote us out of office. It's not true. It's down to a trickle. They don't want to be here if we don't want them. It's not that we don't want them. We need them. A lot of things don't run without these people. They're very adept at what they do. Anyway, I'm turning into a blowhard and maybe a clown. Haven't done my clown thing yet. This will come back to haunt us. This will come back to haunt us. What these people are doing is peeling back the layers that hide all this. They're peeling it back, saying we're racist. Ku Klux Klan was a great bunch of guys. The Nazis there's not much wrong with them. These are statements these guys are saying. Nazis had some good programs. What? Name one. So they're peeling back that polite layer that used to exist to show you the anger and the nastiness and the lying and cheating, and they're pulling back the layer that covers all that up. It's been swept under the carpet. Now they're lifting the carpet saying, look, here's the dirt. Here it is right here. They're being openly blatant about it. Why? For political gain. Because their base demands it. People that vote for them believe it. No fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.